hospitality. Weekday afternoons starting at 1 on MeTV. Book direct flights to Washington, D.C. at flyags.com. The Live 5 for 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai.
Helene is now out of the area and downgraded to a tropical depression. I'll have the latest on that and your weekend forecast all coming up.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 4, a state of emergency declared for the city of Augusta. What the mayor is saying about the effects of Helene.
Also ahead, neighbors helping neighbors in the wake of that horrific night and all that this morning and day has brought. As your news at 4 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 4.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery.
I'm Brad Means. No matter how you're watching at this hour, we are grateful that you are joining us. We hope you and yours are safe.
Coverage you can count on begins with aftermath, the aftermath of what sadly turned out to be a deadly night of storms here across the CSRA. 13 people losing their lives as a result of this horrific night of Helene.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say unprecedented because I'm sure you could go back decades, centuries, and find something similar to this, but it was jarring to say the least.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Where is it right now? What's that storm doing, and what do the next few days hold? Let's check in with meteorologist Sherry Shealy.
Yes, thank you, Brad. Yeah, it was a very nasty and dangerous night and morning, but now things are starting to look a lot better, as we can see on our satellite and radar. So really even the clouds are clearing out of the CSRA, making way for some blue skies and sunshine that I know we are all thankful to see, to give us a chance to dry out and start the cleanup effort. In fact, we can see here on our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam just outside of Television Park, you can see damage to a roof here just off the side of 520, and that's right here close to home. And I know there's damage all over the CSRA, so I hope everyone is staying safe and getting everything cleaned up around the area. But even though conditions are improving, we do still have some very gusty conditions out there. Wind gusts right now up to 22 miles per hour here in Augusta, so anywhere between the 20 to 25 mile per hour range right now. So certainly still, we're not completely out of the clear yet. In fact, a wind advisory is in effect for the CSRA until 9 o'clock tonight. So those tropical storm force winds are still, in the area, even though the skies are starting to clear out. But the good news is over the next couple of hours, we'll see improvements there as well. In fact, over just the next couple of hours, you'll see those wind gusts receding down to around the teens, so about 5 to 10 mile per hour gusts as we get into the overnight hours. So things will calm down and improve greatly. Another area of concern is with flooding. You see all these green polygons across the area. Those are flood warnings that are around bodies of water and rivers, so that's something that we have to keep an eye on. And if we pan further to the north, a lot of action going on up into the mountains of South Carolina and North Carolina. Some emergency flash floodings warnings going on there as they are continuing to see all that heavy rain falling in that area. For us, our estimated rain totals over the last 2 days of excess of 10 inches here in Augusta, over 12 inches in Edgefield, and all across the area, just excessive rainfall over the last 2 days there for us. But the good news, over the next few hours, we'll not only see more sunshine come out, those winds start to calm down, but temperatures looking great as well, starting to get to more seasonable temperatures for us for this time of year. So we'll go over all the details on what you can expect for the rest of the day today, and much anticipated improvements for the weekend all coming up. Brad and Jenny?
All right, Sherry, thank you so much. The mayor of Augusta has declared a state of emergency for the city after the high winds and rain from Helene caused major damage throughout the CSRA. And now a major sporting event is canceled. The 15th Ironman 70.3 Augusta was scheduled for this coming Sunday, but due to the widespread power outages, fallen trees, and flooding, organizers say they've had to cancel the triathlon. Athletes will be notified as this decision was made out of an abundance of caution for their safety.
Our Team 6 coverage continuing now in West Augusta, where the storm caused a lot of damage that is just beginning to get cleaned up. There's News Channel 6's George Ascala live with the latest. George, you take a look at the trees around that part of town. Many have stood for years, but many could not withstand Hurricane Helene.
Brad, there's no question that this major tropical system raised a lot of Helene on Augusta and the surrounding area. And as you mentioned, it was all too familiar. outside of that, big oak pine trees and other trees crashing down on houses. The mayor confirming 3 dead in Augusta, Richmond County. City officials saying it harkens back to the ice storm of 10 years ago. Many residents saying it was like a war zone.
I started hearing them about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then about 5:30, sounded like a bomb went off and just totally destroyed my house.
And you were home? Is everybody okay?
Yeah, everybody was okay. We were up and cause you couldn't sleep because there was so much noise and the wind, the rain.
Now the mayor's saying there is no timeline on getting the power restored, but he did say 1,000 power workers will be coming, arriving in Augusta tomorrow to get there. There are 8 private contractors assisting city crews, tree cutting crews, to clear the way so those power crews can get to those down power lines. Reporting live in Augusta, George Escala, back to you.
All right, George, thank you very much for that. Aiken County was hit hard by Helene, with 4 storm-related deaths being reported. Cleanup was underway today in North Augusta. Take a look now, Lake Avenue. It's a historic North Augusta road with many old houses and trees. A lot of them were damaged this morning by weather that people who live here say they have just never seen before. Towering trees have fallen onto, or look at that, right beside houses. Power lines are dangling and thousands of people are without power, and there is no set time on when power is going to be restored. So some of the hardest sights to see would be this devastation of one iconic house in the area. Neighbors say it's owned by a local doctor.
When we moved into our house, they had yard of the month, and we were like, oh, we want our house to look like that house. It's over 100 years old, and it is absolutely beautiful, so it's really a tragedy.
And the devastation, neighbors, despite and amid the devastation, neighbors have been helping each other out tremendously. Many people have been outside all day helping to clear away trees. They've got their chainsaws going, and they're checking on each other.
Yeah, a similar story playing out in Edgefield County, hit hard by that storm. Take a look at Saluda near the Edgefield County line, where several large trees fell and blocked the road. Some just came straight out of the ground, an experience that will not be soon forgotten.
And it was loud. You could hear trees falling everywhere. I couldn't sleep, that's for sure. I'm just scared. I was praying a lot.
It was pretty rough. We still got trees down, hoping that maybe if we get this road cleared out, we can get maybe power back a little soon.
The community of Johnston working together, and just like people in Edgefield County always do, shoulder to shoulder until that job is done.
A curfew is in place tonight in Aiken County. Aiken County Chairman Gary Bunker signed an emergency declaration last night. The curfew will be in place from 7:30 tonight until 7:30 in the morning. Essential workers and first responders will be exempt.
And with the many trees down, emergency management reminding all of us to stay off the roads if at all possible. You know you want to go out and look. We understand that, but it impedes the work of those first responders, of those law enforcement officers. So please stay in. Don't rubberneck. It'll be back to normal, hopefully, in the near future, and we can just go about our business then.
We've got to drive slower in the wind. We can't really run lights and sirens. And if we're already tied up with somebody doing something they shouldn't be, let's say they decided they want to go out, they want to ride around and see what the storm's doing, and we get that call first, okay? So now we've got an ambulance on the way to them, or maybe we've already made contact with them, and then we get a heart attack or a stroke. So that's going to delay us getting to that person.
Now, if you do have an emergency, go ahead and call 911, as one would typically do. If it's about downed trees, call 311.
South Carolina's price gouging law is in effect following the governor's state of emergency declaration. Per state law, it is against the law to jack up prices during times of disaster. Violators can be charged for excessive pricing, and that's a misdemeanor offense, punishable by a $1,000 fine or up to 30 days in jail. The price gouging law remains in effect until the emergency declaration expires or is terminated.
Storm coverage continues in just a few moments. First, though, some other news of the day, beginning with the controversy at City Hall We're going to cover that on the next edition of the Means Report. Storm coverage continues in just a few moments. First, though, some other news of the day, beginning with the controversy at City Hall. We're going to cover that on the next edition of the Means Report. Augusta Commissioner Catherine Smith McKnight is my guest. We'll talk about the recent resignations of the interim administrator and 2 department heads.
Richmond County has lately had a stigma of no change. We're stagnated. We're not doing anything to move forward. And I see that Mayor Johnson, he is taking a leap and he is moving us forward. So he's not destabilizing or doing anything. I feel that this is something that several commissioners did not want to see happen, and it has happened. I can't tell you tomorrow what might happen, but we might have other department directors in the next several months that we might be looking at replacing. I don't know.
A very candid conversation with Commissioner McKnight, I promise you. Plus an up-close look at buying, selling, and leasing. Dennis Trotter of Jordan Trotter Commercial Real Estate on the Means Report.
Coming up, Hispanics in the military.
Why those who serve say it's also an important part of their heritage. In a moment.
Weather headlines on WJBF News Channel 6. Brought to you by Hickson Roofing. If your roof needs fixing, call Mr. Hickson.
The CSRA. It's where we were born, where we live, where we work, where we're raising our families. It's our home. That's why the people of the CSRA count on us after an accident. Because they know about our skill in the courtroom, how we treat clients like family, how we love this community, and the people who proudly call it home. We're just a call or click away. Injured? When you need me, call me. I'm your Augusta guy. 706-724-7224.
And help fight Parkinson's. Get the latest video in one click at WJBF.com. This is a WJBF Live Viper 6 alert.
So let's take a look at Live Viper 6. This is a loop of what has happened the last 24 hours. So note this is around 4:15 yesterday when we started seeing those heavy bands coming through. And let's play this out. You can see the next couple of hours. 8 o'clock kind of had a lull, and then from then on it was on with lots of heavy rain and gusty winds just jutting through the CSRA, and that continued throughout the wee morning hours. And then by 10 o'clock, all of it was out of there, just a few sprinkles, and we started seeing improvements as early as 10. So as predicted, it moved in very quickly and out, but left lots of destruction behind it, certainly. And we're now in the recovery route from that, trying to clean up. So speaking of Helene, let's take a look at current stats on that. So now tropical depression Helene, as winds have slowed down to 35 miles per hour. But notice the forward progress, even though the wind speeds have lowered, still moving at 28 miles per hour, still a very quick moving storm, but now it's moving up towards the Tennessee and Kentucky border, where it's still surging all that moisture up to that neck of the woods. And then notice that the band's still coming down off the coast of North Carolina, and there's tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings there as well. So even though the center of the storm well off to the west is still wreaking havoc in the Carolinas on the coast there. So where's the track for this? Well, it's kind of just doing a little circle over Kentucky throughout the weekend. Notice the track just kind of making one big blob over the next couple of days. So just kind of staying in one spot. So Kentucky, not a great place to be, as they're going to have lots of rain and wind over the weekend there. But thankfully, it is well out of our way. And behind it, we're going to replace that with dry air. So notice all that dry air that's funneling in below Helene. So that's coming in, allowing us to clear out our skies and getting more warmer air and drier air, which is something I know we're all happy to see. Looking at our Terry Limit Hyundai Skyview cam here in Augusta, we've got those beautiful blue skies starting to show up with just some fluffy clouds. I'm glad to see the sunshine, but I know with so many people out of power, not so grateful to see the sun and the heating effect taking of that. So I know, just hang in there, guys. I know it's frustrating with all the power outages, but know that there's lots of people working hard to get us back where we want to be. So it's a minor inconvenience, but they will get us back there. So everybody just stay put and stay safe, and we've got a much brighter weekend ahead for us. Right now, temperature-wise across the southeast, lots of 80s and 70s across the board for us. So we are warming up there thanks to that sunshine. So speaking of that weekend, here's some good news for you with this futurecast. So yes, we're clearing out this afternoon. Might have a few clouds streaking in there, but overall in the overnight hours, we'll see clear conditions for us. And then on our Saturday, make room for lots of sunshine to peer through. Might see a few increasing clouds in the afternoon and a few stray sprinkles mixed in there, especially towards the northern counties, but overall going to be a dry day for us with lots of sunshine on your Saturday, and then copy and paste it for your Sunday. Again, just a chance of some stray sprinkles in there. So going with a 10% chance of rain over the weekend, and then we have a nice dry stretch ahead of us for the week ahead. But again, the main concern right now, yes, conditions are improving, but we are still under a wind advisory for the whole entire area, and that is until 9 o'clock tonight. So I know you're tempted to get outside and start cleaning up, but again, we do still have those winds to contend with for today, but then we'll see improvements over the weekend and getting back to normal by Sunday and Monday. So overnight tonight, lows in the lower 60s, and for your weekend, lots of sunshine coming in, and look at those seasonable temps in the mid 80s. So we're back to sunshine and looking good for our weekend. And temperature wise, look at that. We're hanging out right where we should be this time of year in the mid 80s, and that continues in our 10-day with lots of sunshine.
So it'll be pleasant as we're all cleaning up outside.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Thankful for that. Sherry, appreciate it so much.
Well, coming up, Monopoly releases its latest board game.
Why, this one is for adults only.
Weekdays at 3 on News Channel 6.
You know, Monopoly has always been a family-friendly game until now. Hasbro has released a new version of the iconic board game called the Monopoly Board Crawl, and it's a drinking game. Players are encouraged to have their adult beverage of choice handy during the game.
It's almost identical to the original, but instead of landing on Boardwalk or Park Place, you can advance to spots like the rooftop bar, the dance floor, the VIP section. And when you land on somebody else's property, instead of having to pay them, you take drinks, answer questions, or complete challenges. Maybe something to bide your time during this period in the CSRA's life.
That's the thing, because sometimes we would be like, oh, no, do we really want to do that?
Right.
I think it warrants it. That's a good way to end the show right now.
Right. If you find a store that's open, by all means, once the roads are cleared, go do what you want with that game.
I think we get a pass. Yeah,
get a pass this time.
There's more coverage you can count on at 4:30.
Including an update from Georgia's governor on the impacts of Helene. Stay with us.
Kamala supports